in the open court. Marv, the last 3 games I talked about, you see the shooting against Sacramento, 34 points in Game 5 when they took that 3-2 advantage.
Minute and a half gone by in the third, so Phil Jackson taking that early timeout. Looked to be upset with Devin George. O'Neal with the rebound. A shot on the follow.
Doug, I know you already talked about the X factor tonight. I'm going to give you another X factor, okay? Devin George, where is he? Because he just can't have big games every so often, every 4th or 5th game. They need him to be somewhat productive.
Sprewell again from downtown.
Well, remember now, he's from this area, went to college. You wonder if it's a distraction that he's playing here. He could have a lot of family here, a lot of tickets. You never know the things that a guy goes through to get himself prepared for a game.
Devin George started slowly in the series against San Antonio, then came on strong. Game 5 had that career playoff high, 16 points. George getting it down low to O'Neal. Consecutive buckets by Shaq. Lakers up by 2, and Shaquille with 19 points, 12 rebounds. Garnett looking to put the move on Malone. Now here's the double team. Garnett has to give it up. Shot clock is down to 2. Sprewell is fouled.
I love that play by Sprewell. In the early rounds, Minnesota was falling in love with the 3-point shot. He pump faked. He could have shot the 3. He went right to the front of the rim, takes the hard foul, puts the pressure on the defense. A fearless play, and he's going to get to the line. And remember we talked.
Rick Fox has come on for Devin George. Fox played a couple of minutes in the first half. Here is Bryant. Yes. A good-looking jumper by Kobe Bryant, who has 11. And the Lakers now lead 54-51.
It's such a fine line when you say a defender is taking a great offensive player out of the game, or is the offensive player forcing too many shots, or does he get himself going? That's the fine line. That's what stars have to deal with.
Hassel's missed shot handled by Fox. So Fox up front with O'Neal and Malone, Payton and Bryant at the guards. Kobe feeling it. Yes, that's 2 in a row from the right side, and the Lakers lead at 56-51, and Flip Saunders wants to talk it over.
So that's my point. If he would have missed those 2 shots, he's taking bad shots and forcing them. Instead, he makes them both. He's getting himself going.
Well, the thing you love, when Kobe makes a couple shots like this, Flip does the smart thing. Take the timeout, stop the run.
Sprewell started out this third quarter with 6 straight points for Minnesota. TWolves took a 2-point lead. Phil Jackson calling that early timeout, and since the timeout, led by Kobe Bryant, the Lakers have outscored the Wolves 8-1 and have taken a 5-point advantage.
And Phil Jackson hates to call timeout. He loves to be able to let his team play through things and figure it out. But tonight, we talked about it, Mike, it's such an important game. They want to win this game tonight. It's such an emphasis to break through tonight. And this guy, Karl Malone, to me, he's been the glue of this team. When he has been healthy, and the four guys that play together, they were 33-9 on the season. If he wins this matchup, Minnesota can't win.
Garnett was fouled, hacked by O'Neal. That's the second on Shaq. Kevin Garnett to the line for the first time tonight. Michael Olowokandi has checked back in.
There's the big free throw situation in the Sacramento series. In the 4 wins, he attempted 40 free throws, and in 3 losses, only 10. He was a jump shooter, floated around. With the games that he attacked and was aggressive, Minnesota won the game. He was able to put his team to the line and get 3 points.
Garnett, a 79% free throw shooter, the most valuable player of the regular season, averaged 24 points. Tied with Pedro Stojakovic behind the scoring leader, Tracy McGrady. 14 rebounds, leading the NBA, plus 5 assists per game for Garnett.
Talked about the matchup, Karl Malone against Garnett. Malone leading 10-8 as far as points go, and it's really unusual to see Karl Malone in a basketball game with 0 free throw attempts.
Bryant with his 3rd straight jumper.
How do you guard that? I mean, Shaq's got 19, Malone 10, 29. Now he has 15, 44 points for those 3. A of the Lakers' 58 points.
Here's Cassell off a beautiful move, not able to finish. Now Payton pushes it down. Payton took a shot after the attempt from Oliver Candy, and his last touch by the Timberwolves.
Shaq with a little bump in the back of Garnett, just enough to knock him off balance. He could not corral that rebound. He actually had inside position.
This is game 1 of this best-of-7 Western Conference final. The foul called on Hassel. Game 2 here in Minneapolis. Sunday night, we'll have it for you on TNT, and then the scene will shift to Los Angeles. Games 3 and 4 at Staples. Payton met on a switch. Malone with the step. Karl Malone able to squeeze his way through the 2 big men.
Just because Malone hit a couple jumpers early in the game, Garnett on his closeout came a little too hard, went for the fake, opened up the driving lane.
Lakers by 7.
Danger time for Minnesota. They need a hoop.
Garnett. Well, Kevin Garnett able to knock it down. It's 10 points for Garnett.
Minnesota cannot let the Lakers run out on them here. They're not a team that's going to come back from big deficits. Even though they've done it in the playoffs, it's tough to play uphill against the Lakers.
Here's Fox. Garnett got a piece of it. And a reach-in is called on Fox. Rick Fox played only 2 minutes in the first half. He has not been getting the playing time in the postseason. He says he's never had this many DNPs in his career. Appeared in only 2 games against San Antonio for a total of 8 minutes. And apparently he will surpass that here tonight.
That's because George is 0 for 2, not doing very much offensively.
Sam Cassell has been doing the job at the offensive end. He has 14 points.
Sam played a little cat and mouse behind that screen roll. He went one way, didn't like it, brought it back the other. Lakers didn't get out, and that's the shot he loves to shoot.
And this crowd very much back into it. T-Wolves within 3. Hassel digging in against Bryant. Now they double him. Shot clock to 5. Malone rejected by Garnett. Sprewell on the run. Cassell for 3. Rebounded by Payton. He has Malone ahead of the field, and he's fouled by Cassell.
That's a good foul. That's twice now Malone has leaked out on a Minnesota break. One time Garnett got back and blocked the shot. This time Cassell did the smart thing and take the foul. But Mike, one of the things you know is anytime there's a broken court play like this and you're running, your last big man down the floor has got to look over his shoulder, and if somebody stays down the floor, he's got to stay back.
Another key thing is 2 opportunities for Karl Malone to dunk the ball and avoid the misses on both fouls. He did not do it on either one. Here's Malone gathering in, thinking that he's got a layup. Instead, it's a hard foul by Cassell from behind, which saves the layup.
You know, it's interesting. When you look at the playoffs going in for the Lakers, you realize Karl Malone, playoff-wise, had a better scoring average going into this playoffs than either Karl Malone Shaquille O'Neal or Kobe Bryant, over 26 a game. Had the only 50-point game ever in the playoffs by one of those guys, and had 22 free throw makes in a game. Mike, you were talking about his ability to get to the free throw line. Once made 22 free throws in a playoff game.
Lakers up by 4. That was last touched by the Lakers. Just under 5.5 to play here in this 3rd quarter. Phil Jackson moving around here tonight in game 1. Not in his stationary position on the bench.
I think that shows you the importance of what he feels about this game.
Shot clock down to 3. Good play by Malone. And back comes Fisher.
I think this is the Lakers' best lineup when you slide Kobe down to the small forward and have Fisher and Payton on the floor with Malone and Shaq.
O'Neal with the drop step. A very strong performance for Shaquille O'Neal. 21 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists.
Well, this lineup gives him perimeter shooting. It gives him scoring from more than just 3 or 4 positions on the floor. There's a little more balance out here.
You see Fisher guarding Hassel. He doesn't have to guard him, so Flip Saunders is going to come in with Wally Szczerbiak to give himself another offensive player so they can't hide Fisher.
Foul on Bryant. That is his second. Here comes Szczerbiak. And he'll replace Hassel.
Now what'll happen, Sprewell's going to have to play Kobe because they don't want Wally Szczerbiak to have to do that. So now, Sprewell's going to have to expend a lot of energy on the defensive end, but you need another scorer on the floor right now. That's why he's going to Wally.
13 points for Latrell Sprewell. Get an all-access look at the NBA playoffs. You can tune into the NBA TV playoff show Destination Finals. That's every weeknight at 6 p.m. only on NBA TV. Strong third quarter for Latrell Sprewell. Lakers now lead it by 4. Sprewell with 9 of his 14 here in the third.
It all started with him getting to the basket early with that three-point play.
Now Payton being played by Szczerbiak. Fisher with the step. Rebound handled by Garnett. Sprewell. Yes. He's a streak shooter. That's been his story throughout his 12-year NBA career, and he is on a streak here in the third.
Doug, if you're going to slide underneath the screens, you've got to do a better job of cutting off from there.
Oh, Kobe Bryant able to score, and you heard the crowd, and Sam Cassell also felt should have been an offensive foul. Lakers lead 65-61. Kobe's hit his last 4 shots. Garnett. Wide open opportunity for Kevin Garnett.
Well, they switched the pick and roll, and Sprewell made a great pass over the top of Kobe, who was in the passing lane.
But if you're going to switch, that means you take the other guy's man, so somebody has to play Garnett.
Nick Bryant with the fake, and he is fouled by Szczerbiak. Szczerbiak came over to help out after Bryant got the step, called for the blocking foul. That's 2 on Wally.
Kobe takes on the gang of white jerseys here, and you see Szczerbiak moving in. That's where they call the block on Szczerbiak. Minnesota feels they had a clean steal.
Well, Wally had his hands up and he was moving. You're allowed to move as long as you're moving backwards and not moving into the player.
Bryant 3 of 4 at the line.
You get one more look. Sliding, moving the feet, his hands are up. If they're leaning forward a little bit and there's contact, perhaps that's the reason the official can give him the call rather than straight up.
And that's why you have to have stars, because stars put the pressure on the officials to blow the whistle.
And the Lakers stars are doing it here tonight. 21 for O'Neal, 19 for Bryant. The outside official, Joe Crawford, calling the hold on Payton. Lakers are in the penalty. We mentioned earlier Joe Crawford making his return after the foot injury, coming back in less than 3 weeks. His one of his partners, Bob Delaney, saying to me earlier, he said, you know, Joe and I are the same age. This guy gets hurt. That's because I eat my vegetables.
Well, you know, you talk about how people love their jobs. Obviously, the players, us sitting here at this table, this man loves to officiate. His brother is a Major League Baseball umpire. His father was the great umpire. Officiating runs in his family.
Talking about his dad, Shag, his brother, Jerry. Coming up on 3 minutes to play in the third. The Laker lead is down to 2. Here is Payton. Rebounded by O'Neal, but a foul is called. Loose ball foul, and it's on Shaq. A pushing foul. That's his third. And the TWolves will go to the line.
We'll try and get a look to see if Shaquille O'Neal does in fact push from behind as he's going after the ball. From that particular angle, it's tough to tell. We'll take one more look. He only wipes out 2 guys, perhaps, to get the ball, not 1.
Well, if I'm Latrell Sprewell, I'm sprinting to the free throw line and making them put Olowokandi on the line. And Michael Olowokandi says, heck with that, I can knock the free throws down. But I'm telling you, the score, I used to sprint to that free throw line and make them put somebody else out there.
Well, Olowokandi, a 59% free throw shooter during the regular season. A timeout is taken. For 3 Celtic championship teams, native of Hibbing, Minnesota, star at the University of Minnesota. In fact, a teammate of Flip Saunders. Flip in his 8th year as head coach here in Minnesota. Spent 7 years as a coach in the CBA, winning 2 CBA titles. In fact, both Phil Jackson and Flip Saunders began their head coaching careers in the CBA, both having much success on that level. How about Michael Olowokandi? The game is tied at 67. Just under 3 to play in the 3rd. Derek Fisher for 3.
That guy hits big shots. He comes through. I don't have to tell you what he did against San Antonio, but he is such a confident player in the playoffs, and the players believe in him. They trust him.
A timeout is called to preserve the possession. Sam Cassell upset. He thought he was fouled. It's a 20-second timeout.
If you go back to that last play, Doug, Kobe Bryant on the pick and roll knew that Minnesota was going to plug that foul line area with the next defensive man away from the ball. That happened to be Derek Fisher's man. So as he came off, rather than look for shot, he immediately got the ball over to Fisher for the open jumper. And there you see Sam getting that right foot caught on Fisher's left foot. He stumbles, goes down, takes the 20-second timeout rather than get tied up.
And timeouts are going to be very vital because this is the Minnesota team, again, that played 48 hours ago. And Flip Saunders wants to have timeouts not only for strategic purposes late in the game, but also if he needs to rest a Kevin Garnett or a Sprewell or a Cassell without taking them out of the game, to be able to take a timeout and get them some rest to finish the game.
Kareem Rush has checked back in for the Lakers. Garnett lost in the pass behind him, not able to handle it. And the Lakers take possession. They lead by 3, just under 2.5 remaining in the 3rd. O'Neal being played now by Olowokandi. Fisher from the other side, from downtown. That's his 3rd 3 of the night.
Remember the series they swept San Antonio? I think he shot 15 for 27 from the three-point. He was an incredible shooting performance. Once again on target with his three-point shot.
That was on the way to the Laker championship in 2001. In fact, that was an NBA record. He had 15 three-pointers in 4 games against the Spurs.
They have run the same play twice in a row. They just moved Fisher and Rush. They exchange spots. Here they come again, except they put Shaq in the pick and roll.
It is a 3-point festival by the Lakers. Kareem Rush from beyond the 3.
Going to the amusement park. Look at those mirrors.
Here is Sprewell. Yes.
Barb, at the 3:01 mark of the 3rd period, Olowokandi made 2 free throws to tie the game at 67 all. 11-0 run with the three-point shooting and the spot-up shooting of the Lakers. They took control of this game. Minnesota's got to fight back.
Derek Fisher, 8 of his 11 over the last 2.5 minutes. That included 2 threes. Good defense here on Bryant. Has to fire one from way downtown and nearly banked it home. Sprewell avoiding Medvedenko. Rebounded by Malone.
You can see Kevin Garnett. He's walking up the floor right now. Flip Saunders is not going to be able to rest him. They dug themselves that 11-point hole. And right now, he is extremely fatigued, but I don't think he can get him out of the game.
This is the stretch right now where the offense for LA goes through Kobe. He'll create shots for himself or teammates. So it's a dangerous time because you tend to shoot all jumpers.
Well, for some guys, that's not a bad idea. As Kobe is able to go last with that shot clock down to 1. The Lakers 80. The T-Wolves 69. Bryant 8 for 16. He has 21 points.
No point guard now in the game for Minnesota.
Foul on Medvedenko.
when Shaq sits down, the offense starts with Kobe Bryant. Sometimes they post him, other times they leave him on the perimeter. His job, create offense for his team. That time he created it for himself and his team, banking it off the glass.
He discourages great defense with incredible shots. Degree of difficulty, we've seen 3 in this game already.
Mark Matson is back for Michael Olowokandi. Sprewell for 3. Latrell Sprewell with 21 points.
One of the rare times that the Lakers actually double-teamed with full rotation. Kobe was the guy who doubled. He couldn't get out on the last pass to Sprewell in time.
Well, Latrell is 3rd from downtown. Malone, yes. Karl Malone is now 7 of 12. He has 15 points.
Well, that rest really did him well. Remember, this is a guy who had first really big injury of his career with that knee this year, and that rest has really helped him since that San Antonio series.
Garnett. Beautiful react, wide open. Yes. That's a 2. He had a foot on the line, and the Wolves are right back into it. They're within 6.
Now, Kareem Rush dove in the backcourt for a steal and missed it, and when he did, Wally Szczerbiak wide open on that jump shot.
Off the handoff, Bryant nearly turns it over. He's met on a switch by Garnett. Fisher. And here comes Sprewell. Rush is back. Sprewell is stopped by Rush, finds Garnett. And Fisher able to get his hands on the ball, and he finds Bryant. Good play by Derek Fisher.
Again, the 3rd time in this game where Minnesota has run a break, not converted, and no one stayed back. Twice Malone got fouled. That time Kobe, an easy layup. You thwart the run, you miss a layup. Instead of it being a 4-point game, it's 8.
4-point swing in the game just on the 1 play.
Hoiberg for 3. Fred Hoiberg among the leaders in 3-point shooting during the regular season has cut it to 5.
That play was right in front of the Laker bench, and Rick Fox and Horace Grant stood up to distract Hoiberg. He did not even see them.
O'Neal getting down deep on Olowokandi and is fouled.
That double team is coming from the top side. Olowokandi cannot allow Shaq to spin away from him. He's got to turn him back to in his help, but Shaq then turns away and nobody's there to defend that shot.
Well, the players are smart enough to know where the double team is coming from. We've seen Garnett turn away from 4 or 5 double teams tonight. That time Shaq turned away before the next man could get to him. And, you know, the key guy, as you mentioned, being Karl Malone, has been reinserted back in the game because I think Phil Jackson felt that they had just become they weren't the same cohesive unit. Let me put it that way.
He's their anchor, really on both ends of the floor.
3rd foul on Olowokandi. Devin George has checked back in, as has Gary Payton. O'Neal. Kept alive by Malone. And once again, they feed it down low, and Shaq serves up a facial on Olowokandi.
I would think Michael Olowokandi has time to get back in front of Shaq. When they throw it back out and repost again, rather than stand behind him so deep, you got to take a chance and make them have to throw a good lob every once in a while.
Szczerbiak for 3. Once on ESPN, game 2 of that series, covered starting 8 o'clock Eastern time. How about Shaquille O'Neal, 7 of 9 from the foul line.
And Flip Saunders just shook his head. You know, I shoot 37% in the playoffs, 40 for 106 going into tonight. Makes the big ones tonight when they need it.
Lakers lead by 6. Garnett working hard on Malone. 16 for Kevin Garnett.
16 hard-earned points because Karl Malone is contesting every shot.
88-84 Lakers. They're on their feet here at the Target Center. Now Malone at the other end, played by Garnett. Bryant rubbing off Sprewell. Olowokandi on the rebound. Here comes Sprewell. 4 minutes to play in the 4th. Sprewell with the opening. Sprewell cuts it to a 2-point Laker lead.
when Minnesota runs those screen rolls on the move, when the Lakers are up and down, they don't get out to defend it.
They double up on O'Neal. Malone, beautifully done for Devin George. The cut by George, taking the pass from Malone.
How many times did we see him pounce out of the post like that when he was Utah? He was a great passer in there with the Jazz.
First field goal for George, and Sprewell lost it, so the ball back to the Lakers.
This is what you talked about. Malone so used to this in the Utah offense of watching for cutters, bouncing it on the floor, and George with his first field goal.
Lakers with a 4-point lead. George, rebounded by O'Neal.
Shaq got away with two hands in the back on Olowokandi that time. He gave just enough to push him out of the play.
And here is Malone. Karl Malone extends to a 92-86 lead. There's Jerry Buss, the principal owner of the LA Lakers, enjoying that shot by Karl Malone, who now has 17. Lakers by 6. We'll be right back.
Power and the dominance of this man, Shaq Diesel. Shaquille O'Neal, look at the power inside. He misses the shot, follows it back with a strong finish. Softens up your defense on the inside with the little jump hook. This is the power move. He came to the middle, a powerful dunk over Michael Olowokandi, and we said he was going to see a lot of different faces tonight defensively. Matson's only played 5 minutes, but Olowokandi's 3 of 7 against Urban Johnson. He's 5 of 7. He has 25 points, 15 rebounds. The difference in the game, the Lakers are plus 16 points in the paint, 32-16.
You guys get the idea. Shaq has had 3 different seasons.
Yes, and it started at the All-Star break when he was the MVP. That jump started the end of the season and now the playoff mark.
Minnesota down by 6 points. Serbiak. At first, he did not agree
because they need him out on the floor right now to make shots, but this is the team he's going to go with.
Now to a minute 10 remaining in the fourth. Lakers with a 92-88 lead. Shot clock down to 5. Here is Fisher for 3. Derek Fisher again. The TWolves creative tension. We have that here basically every week with the man to your right.
Doug, didn't Minnesota go through the same thing against Sacramento where they put tremendous pressure on themselves by losing the first one and having to win that second one to get themselves back in the series?
Well, in that second game, they were down 10 with 4 minutes to go and made a rush to win that game, or they would have been down 0-2.
Well, a terrific performance by the Los Angeles Lakers. A road victory in game number 1 as they have defeated the Timberwolves 97-88. And if you believe in the percentages, there it is. Game 1 winner, best of 7. Takes the series nearly 80% of the time.